Good evening. Monday the 14th of November. This morning we apparently had an earthquake in the region, which I must have slept through. I've done that before with earthquakes. Yeah, so it's 77 weeks without any of those carbohydrates which everybody thinks we should have to eat. No, we don't. There is no essential carbohydrates. Anyway, with that one out of the way, this is going to be an essay, considering the times, an essay on the proper response to violence, which I've spent some time writing. So, and here we go then. Those who have not experienced violence at first hand have only an opinion, which might not be relevant, however deeply felt. I speak as one who has encountered violence in several forms, leading almost to my death. Yep. The primary response to violence is reactive, necessarily so, whether by avoiding or repelling it. A measured response can come when the situation has been assessed. In the thick of it, measure for measure is what is required. Think about that one. What is sufficient response when somebody's trying to kill you or someone else, or just cause harm? The sufficient response is to stop them, whatever that takes. Now, if they turn and run away, well then, yeah, that's sufficient. Somebody else comes up and clobbers them, that's also sufficient. But if it's up to you and you alone, you have to, it's you or them. One of you is going to get probably knocked unconscious and left. Well, if they're the assailant, you're going to be left laying there. That's the way it goes. But, so it's to be or not to be, that's the question. Which one do you ought to be? Not be or not be. Simple as that. There's no fairy realm in between, and rhetoric has no place in matters of life and death. Some aphorisms. Do not stand idly by when you can save a life. That's Leviticus 19:15. This informs us of the duty to protect others from harm. Save the life of the pursued at the cost of the life of the pursuer. That's Deuteronomy 25:12. This informs us of the scope of action available to prevent violence. Yeah, all the way. If you have to kill them, you have to kill them. Violence by word or deed. Whoever initiates violence by word or deed has requested violence in return. So somebody who's threatening to do something that they are capable of carrying out has already committed the assault. You are already legally, at least in the jurisdiction that I was brought up in, allowed to take immediate action to prevent them. Don't stand there and hum and ha and wait for them to take the first swing. No, it's not the first swing, it's the first word, the first threat. Yeah, just turn it onto the head of the instigator. So do unto others as they do unto others, for whatever. Yeah, that's it. They've accepted the consequences. Okay. So now we have a little quote from George Orwell. Creeds like pacifism or anarchism, which seem to enjoy a complete renunciation of power, rather encourage the habit of mind. This habit of mind. For if one has embraced a creed which appears to be free from the ordinary dirtiness of politics, the more he is in the right, and everybody else should be bullied into thinking otherwise. So, yeah, they think that, oh, we're in the right because we're pacifists, and everybody else who's not a pacifist should be bullied into being a pacifist. If you can see the logic of that, so so this is a prefiguring of beware of the woke. And then Plato, insofar as silence means assent, those who do not intervene are complicit. They are cowards or provocateurs. Let their own hearts be the judge. Therefore, in the case of nations, the civilian is guilty of allowing his government to pursue aggression, especially where it is part of the ruling party's manifesto. Do I have to point out where I'm talking about for the last, well, definitely since 1967. Okay. So there's no excuses for such enablers. They are enabling this form of violence by electing the party that has it in its manifesto. Right. Good luck with explaining that one before a magistrate as to why you are not guilty of what you have stood by and let happen, or even applauded it, for that matter. Okay. So I reckon there will never be a time when violence ceases to be, for every generation has had and must have to deal with the immature elements of society, such as prefer force to obtain their way in things. This is a defect in humankind for which there is no remedy, whether subtle or plain. Only consequences count. So the death penalty is not a it's not there to inhibit people. It's there as a consequence for murderers and the like. Their choice. Okay, and these are the choices: to be or not to be subject to violence, paralysed by fear or some theory of morality. Lots of theories of morality, pacifism for one, neutrality for another. Don't want to get involved. Ooh, hide. Yep. You're not allowed to hit him back as hard as what he hit you. That's not fair, is it? No. No, you're not allowed to hit him back at all, because that's not fair. Right. Okay, so there. Or to rise up and overcome them. Some prefer to slumber in their dogmas, never to wake from them. Asleep. Yes, they've got their nice little supply of blue pills by the bedside to ensure their sweet dreams. Okay, and historical point. The outlaw was someone whose disregard for the law had freed him from the protection of the law. His life was forfeit. He had a price on his head, and anyone that collected his head got the reward. So to overcome violence, whether in its manifestation or its apologists, yes, there's a lot of apologists for violence floating around at the moment, you know. Oh yeah, but Ukraine's Nazis, or something. You know what I mean. So, we're almost there. So how many of those who clamour for justice and other seemingly noble causes have bothered to learn first aid? I have. Yes, it's just you're worrying about the well-being of other people, but you haven't learnt first aid. Yeah, you're a bit of a slack, thoughtless, even selfish person. Okay. Also, be quick to remove that hateful bully who hides behind a mask of do-goodery, for he is the epitome of deceit. And those who, when they no longer are able to lie to you, they will lie about you. They are the sowers of the seeds of violence. There are other kind of people that you should watch out for, and if it comes to it, make sure they have to explain themselves in front of a magistrate at the very least. Okay, that was it. Took longer to write it than to say it. Okay. So that's it. It's a full moon today, and winter has properly arrived because the nights are now below 10 degrees. I mean centigrade, not that backward living in a bubble Fahrenheit stuff. Okay, that's it. We will catch up with you anon. Keep well and think about what I've said, because everyone has an opinion. They all like to quote from here and there. This United Nations said this, and someone else said that. And rah rah rah. There's a grab bag of alternate theories of reality and ethics and stuff. Anyway, so it's late. It's after sunset. I think it's time for me to say good night.